You're pathetic. Eleanor Chen's voice cut through the crystal chandeliers and champagne flutes. A dying child for publicity? Really, Victoria? The charity gala froze. 200 of Manhattan's most powerful figures watched as Victoria Montgomery, 52, CEO of Montgomery Industries, feared by Wall Street wolves, clenched her hands around her glass. That boy will be dead within the week, Thomas Blackwell sneered, adjusting his diamond cufflinks. 7 years old, terminal heart defect. What were you thinking? Victoria's gray eyes hardened. This woman who'd crushed Fortune 500 companies before breakfast, who'd never married, never had children, her reputation was steel wrapped in ice. I adopted Ethan yesterday, she said quietly. Too quietly. Finally cracked under the pressure? Eleanor smirked. The great Victoria Montgomery, playing mother to an orphan who'll be gone before the ink dries on adoption papers. You think I'm doing this for image? Victoria set down her glass with deliberate care. You think I don't know what happens when cameras stop rolling and donors look away? The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Everyone knew about Ethan Walsh, abandoned at Children's Memorial 6 days ago, parents unknown, heart condition inoperable. 1 week to live, the doctors said, maybe less. When he dies, Isabella Harrington whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, it'll destroy her reputation. She'll look like a fool who couldn't even save one child with all her billions. Victoria's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. Then I'll be the richest fool in the cemetery. Right where I belong, according to my doctors. The room exhaled collectively. What did that mean? Hit that subscribe button if you believe powerful people can change their hearts. Vote now. Only those who think women in power should stay heartless would refuse to join Hopeful Hearts. 3 days earlier, ovarian cancer stage 4. 3 months, perhaps less. Dr. Reeves set the file down gently. I'm sorry, Victoria. Victoria Montgomery stared at the pediatric ward beyond the office window, dry-eyed. At 52, death was practical. No heirs, no regrets, just business to close. She was leaving Reeves' office when she saw him, a small boy alone in a wheelchair by the window, drawing hearts on condensation with one finger. Excuse me, she asked a passing nurse, Michael Parker, his badge read. 32, with hands that moved with surgical precision despite his RN title. Where's that child's family? Michael's expression shuddered. Nowhere. He glanced at the boy, lowered his voice. Ethan Walsh has tetralogy of Fallot. We're easing his transition. To what? Do the math, Miss Montgomery. His tone carried judgment. 7 days, give or take. Victoria watched the boy, Ethan, building card houses with trembling 7-year-old hands. Each one collapsed before completion. The quiet persistence struck something buried deep in her chest. Michael Parker moved to Ethan's side, adjusting his oxygen flow with tender expertise no basic nurse would have. Time for meds, buddy. Can I finish my house first? Always. Michael's voice softened beyond professional. Want me to steady the bottom? No, I do hard things alone. The card tower fell. Ethan started again. Victoria found herself holding her breath as it rose. When had she stopped caring about people who built things that fell down? I want to adopt him. The words emerged before thought filtered them. Michael's head snapped up. Excuse me? Adoption papers, now. Miss Montgomery, this isn't Build-A-Bear workshop. No, she agreed. It's watching a child face death with more courage than billionaires face quarterly reports. What draws Victoria to this dying boy's strength? And why does Michael watch her with eyes that know something she doesn't? Money solves everything. Victoria's mantra met reality head-on in day 3. Private room, check. World's leading specialist, check. Ethan's acceptance? Impossible to purchase. Why do you make everything expensive? Ethan asked, watching nurses unwrap the fourth $500 heart rate monitor. Quality requires investment. So does love, Michael Parker commented, entering for morning medication. He avoided Victoria's gaze, focused entirely on Ethan. How about we use the basic equipment that works just as well? Victoria bristled. I prefer perfection. Children prefer presence. Michael's movements suggested training beyond his credentials as he adjusted Ethan's IV with the care of a surgeon. Anyone can write checks. The criticism stung precisely because it echoed her own father's dismissals decades ago. She'd sworn never to become him, the parent who thought money replaced time. Yet here she was, buying $200 stuffed bears instead of playing card games. Ethan studied her with wisdom beyond his years. My real mommy said money is like fancy shoes. It doesn't make you walk better, just look different. Your mother was wise. She died anyway. His matter-of-fact delivery gutted her. Does yours? Victoria's throat tightened. No, mine chose work over knowing me. Mine chose dying over fighting. Ethan's small shoulders squared. But I fight. Every day. Michael watched this exchange with unusual intensity. His hands clenched around the medication tray, not professionally anxious but personally invested. Why does this simple nurse react like someone with intimate knowledge of loss? And how does a 7-year-old find strength that eludes billion-dollar CEOs? Week 2 shattered Victoria's carefully built walls. You're losing yourself in this sentimental fantasy. Margaret Chen, Victoria's oldest friend, cornered her after the emergency board meeting. Step back before it consumes you. But how could she explain that watching Ethan rebuild card houses taught her more about persistence than 30 years of hostile takeovers? Ethan's improvement defied medical explanation, walking more each day, laughing at nurse jokes, drawing hearts, always hearts on every surface, including Victoria's daily planner. Does it hurt? She asked one night when Ethan's monitors beeped irregularly. Everything hurts when you're this broken. He met her eyes directly. You just decide what's worth the pain. Michael overheard from the doorway. His expression shifted, from professional monitoring to something achingly personal. Your perspective surprises them, he observed after Ethan fell asleep, the Ice Queen finding empathy. What surprises you, Michael? That it's genuine. He hesitated. That watching someone face death without fear can be addictive. The admission hung between them. Victoria sensed layers beneath his clinical demeanor. You watch me like someone cataloging mistakes, she ventured. I watch you like someone recognizing patterns. Michael's voice dropped. Powerful people often realize too late what matters. Speaking from experience? He left without answering. But that night, Victoria found herself reviewing not corporate strategies, but memories of her daughter Melissa, dead in childbirth at 25. Had she watched Melissa with the same detached efficiency she now applied to business metrics? Ethan's next cardiac episode struck during this reflection. Victoria held him through the crisis, feeling his fragile heartbeat against her chest. Michael worked with practiced urgency, their eyes meeting over Ethan's bed in a moment of shared purpose that transcended professional roles. What patterns does Michael see in Victoria that she can't? And why does watching her care awaken memories he thought he'd buried? The emergency room at 2 a.m. revealed truth no amount of wealth could hide. Blood type O negative won't work. Dr. Martinez frowned at Victoria's test results. Test me. Michael stepped forward. You're not family. Test me. His tone commanded, not requested. The genetic match didn't just confirm compatibility, it exposed everything. Michael disappeared while results were processed. When he returned to find Victoria studying the DNA report, his facade cracked entirely. 7 years, he said simply. 7 years planning this. What are you talking about? Walsh Technologies, Daniel Walsh, my brother. Michael's voice shook with controlled rage. Does the name mean anything to you? Victoria's mind raced through countless corporate acquisitions, then stopped. The tech startup she'd gutted for patents, the young CEO who'd called her heartless. Your brother killed himself when his pregnant wife went into early labor from stress. Sarah died 3 days later. Michael pulled out a worn photograph, 2 young faces laughing. That's Daniel, that's Sarah, that's their baby Ethan being born. The card houses suddenly made sense, perfectly balanced, doomed to fall. Then why? Because I needed you to love him before destroying you. Michael's laugh was bitter. Poetic justice, let the woman who kills dreams experience loss. But you saved him. Victoria gestured toward the medical equipment. You've been saving him this whole time. I'm not my brother. Michael scrubbed his face. I couldn't watch another child die because of your choices. Ethan doesn't look like them. Sarah adopted him. She couldn't. They'd been trying for years. Michael's shoulders sagged. She loved him anyway, till the end. Victoria processed this revelation, her past actions creating present suffering. But one question burned. If this was revenge, when does it end? Michael looked at her then, really looked, at the woman who'd spent weeks holding a dying child through pain. It ended the first time you held him through a seizure without calling a nurse. When does justice transform into redemption? And can Michael abandon his carefully planned revenge now that Victoria has become the guardian his brother never could be? Subscribe if you believe in accountability for the powerful. Vote now. Only those who think business leaders should escape consequences would refuse to join Hopeful Hearts. Would you forgive someone like Victoria? Michael left the DNA results on Victoria's desk the next morning, a manifesto of carefully orchestrated revenge. You could have told me. Victoria's voice lacked anger, only acceptance. You'd have found ways to buy forgiveness. Michael wouldn't meet her eyes. Money fixes everything for people like you. Not this. Victoria pulled out her phone, initiated a series of calls that dismantled her empire piece by methodical piece. Stocks sold, properties transferred to victims, families, her life's work redistributed. Michael watched, stunned. What are you doing? What you wanted. Destroying myself. Stop. For the first time, Michael grabbed her arm. This isn't what he would have wanted. Daniel? Ethan, he started calling you Grandma. Did you notice? She hadn't, too focused on punishment to hear the quiet ways Ethan had claimed her as family. They found Ethan awake, working on drawings, not hearts this time, but people. 3 figures, small, medium, large, labeled me, Uncle Michael, Grandma. I don't have a daddy anymore, he explained matter-of-factly. But Uncle Michael could be, and you could be my grandma for real, like a real family. Victoria knelt beside his bed. 7 years old, no self-pity, just quiet acceptance of choosing love over biological impossibilities. When did you get so wise? Dying people have to be smart. Ethan touched her face. So we can teach living people not to waste time. In that moment, Victoria understood. Michael's revenge had failed because Ethan's love succeeded. Punishment couldn't coexist with a child who saw family where adults saw loss. I liquidated half my assets, Victoria told Michael later. The rest goes to children's cardiac research, whether I survive or not. And if you do survive, I start over, with whatever family will have me. How does a dying child teach 2 broken adults that love multiplies instead of divides? And when does vengeance transform into the very healing it sought to deny? Ethan's 3rd surgery brought both clarity and confession. I never wanted this, Michael admitted in the empty chapel. Watching you love him, watching it change you. Watching it change you too? He didn't answer immediately. My brother sent his prenatal vitamins to Sarah every week in care packages. Drew hearts on the envelopes. When he died, I found hundreds of them. I threw them away. Why? Hearts are lies people tell themselves. His voice cracked. But watching Ethan draw them every day, I started seeing them differently. The chapel door opened. Dr. Martinez entered. The surgery was successful, but Ethan's asking for both of you. In recovery, Ethan's first words were, "Did you make up while I was sleeping?" Neither adult knew what he meant. Uncle Michael stopped hating Grandma. Ethan's observation was crystal clear. I could tell even when he was pretending. Michael and Victoria exchanged glances. When had a dying child gained such insight? Sometimes, Ethan continued sleepily, people need permission to stop fighting, so I'm giving it now. Be happy instead. Later, after Ethan drifted off, Victoria found herself standing too close to Michael. Not by accident. I can't forgive myself, she whispered. I know. His hand found hers. But I can forgive you. Why? Because Ethan taught me that holding anger is like swallowing poison, hoping it kills someone else. Michael turned to face her fully. And because somewhere between revenge and mercy, I fell in love with the person you're becoming. The kiss happened slowly. Permission granted by Ethan, courage found in shared purpose. Not passion born of denial, but connection, emerging from healing. How does forgiving others become the path to forgiving ourselves? And when does love emerge from the most unexpected places, not despite our brokenness, but because of it? 3 weeks post-surgery, patterns shifted subtly but profoundly. Victoria learned to braid Ethan's hair for bandage changes. Michael taught her pediatric CPR, not as duty, but as shared protection. They began finishing each other's sentences at medical consultations, united front replacing individual agendas. Are we doing family now? Ethan asked during their first dinner together. Neither adult rushed to answer. They'd learned words meant less than actions. We're learning, Victoria settled on. Good, I can teach you. Ethan's confidence carried no arrogance. Family means saying sorry when I'm grumpy and sharing my snacks. Michael caught Victoria's eye. When had this child become their teacher? Daily routines developed organically. Michael's shift ended precisely when Victoria's heart caught noticing small kindnesses. He kept her favorite tea stocked. She remembered his coffee order. Both shielded Ethan from medical talk that might frighten. The first night Victoria fell asleep in Michael's arms happened accidentally, exhaustion overriding caution. They woke intertwined, neither pulling away. "This feels like surrender," she murmured. "To what?" "To caring more about love than control." Ethan appeared in the doorway of their makeshift family corner, stuffed animal in hand. "Can I sleep in the middle?" Permission granted silently. Three people who'd been alone choosing togetherness instead. When does learning to receive love become as powerful as learning to give it? And how does a child's simple wisdom transform two damaged adults into protective guardians? 6 months later, Victoria's cancer showed unexpected improvement. Stress reduction, Dr. Rad Martinez theorized. Emotional healing impacts cellular function. Victoria knew better. Love was the variable her perfectly controlled life had never allowed for. Hopeful Hearts Medical Foundation opened without fanfare, dedicated to children orphaned by corporate callousness. Former Walsh Technologies employees found leadership roles. Families Victoria's business decisions had destroyed received anonymous scholarships. But the real transformation happened in smaller moments. Michael teaching Ethan to tie shoes became lessons in patience Victoria never learned. Saturday mornings meant pancakes, not meetings. Ethan's 8th birthday party included no business contacts, just nurses who'd become family. One evening, sorting through old photos, Victoria discovered Melissa's journals. Her daughter had written about loneliness, about watching her mother choose boardrooms over ballet recitals. "I wonder if Mom knows that every time she misses something, she loses a piece of us both." Reading those words while Ethan napped against her shoulder and Michael worked nearby, Victoria understood. Redemption wasn't erasing past damage, but preventing future wounds. "We're supposed to see your remission specialist tomorrow," Michael reminded gently. "Can we see Ethan's art teacher first?" He invited us to bring pancakes. Michael smiled, the full, unguarded expression still rare but increasingly common. Pancakes first, always. How does choosing simple joy over complicated redemption become the truest form of healing? And when do 3 wounded hearts create one unbreakable family? Victoria's wedding ring was simple. Medical-grade platinum with Ethan's birthstone. No diamonds, no drama. "Why this one?" Ethan had asked when selecting it. "Because real strength doesn't need to be flashy," Michael explained, sliding it on Victoria's finger. A year after that first hospital meeting, their family portrait hung in the Hopeful Hearts lobby. No posed perfection, just authentic connection. Ethan drawing hearts on the glass while Victoria explained cardiac function, Michael capturing the moment on film. Former business rivals still questioned her sanity. The Ice Queen who'd disbanded her empire for love. But watching Ethan play with other children saved by the foundation, cynicism felt ridiculous. "I learned the difference between legacy and life," Victoria told a persistent reporter at the foundation's anniversary. "My name on buildings meant less than teaching my grandson that people matter more than profits." The reporter pressed, "Any regrets?" Victoria looked at Michael holding Ethan. Only that it took dying to learn how to live. Sunday mornings became sacred ritual. Family pancakes, Ethan's artwork, planning weekly visits to the children's ward. "Grandma, why did you keep all my first drawings?" Ethan asked, age 8, watching her frame his latest creation. "Because they remind me when everything changed." "When you stopped being scary?" Victoria laughed, the sound now familiar, genuine. "When I stopped being scared." Michael watched from the kitchen doorway, still amazed how revenge transformed into family. 3 people who'd been alone, choosing each other daily. Ethan's latest drawing featured 3 figures holding hands. No longer separated, no longer breaking, simply together. Family, redefined by choice rather than obligation. Subscribe if you believe people can change their hearts. Only those who think redemption is impossible would walk away from Hopeful Hearts. Has someone's transformation ever surprised you? Share your story in the comments.